If you asked most Buckley students about the political elections and issues of today, they might give you an answer with something about ISIS or what's happening on Capitol Hill. But something closer to home is occurring as we speak. In a district of 250,000, 14 candidates vie for one council seat. Among them is Buckley alumnus Teddy Davis, a former student body president and student voice editor. The position serves District 4, a stretch that runs from our home in Sherman Oaks all the way down to the eclectic enclave of Silver Lake and zigzags along the way. For over a decade or so, the position has been held by Councilman Tom LaBonge. Now, as his term limit expires, a race with no clear frontrunner and little publicity has broken out. But if there's one thing that's for sure, it's that in an era of low voter turnout, every vote counts. Out of curiosity, we asked students and faculty if they even knew about the coming election.
To be honest, I have no idea what's going on.
No.
What is that?
Actually, I did not know that.
I just read about it in the local newspaper and then through my online sources.
To no surprise, most did not. In fact, according to a poll we took of the senior class, 77% didn't know there was an election, and an overwhelming 95% said they were not voting. One person not shocked by our findings is the former chair of the history department, Robert Wright.
There are a few reasons why elections in LA are so low, at least in voter turnout. One of them being that I don't think a lot of people know what people in city council or on the school board do, so therefore why show up to the election? There's also the issue that people don't really have maybe handy access to voter information. They get a flyer, they put it aside in the mail. You don't really see a lot of ads inundating TV, and you don't have the hype of maybe a presidential year election, which would naturally make people more interested in politics. So depending on what sources of news people are gaining or looking at, now there's plenty of stuff out there. You can go on the internet, there's campaign sites, the local news all have election primers, so there's plenty of access, probably easier access than there's been in the last 20 years of politics. It's just whether or not people care enough to actually look up the information and then to show up on voting day and punch the ticket.
Another issue facing the candidates is appealing to the different areas of the district. After all, how can one person please a district that clumps together areas as distinctive as Los Feliz and Sherman Oaks? To some residents of Sherman Oaks, the answer is, you can't. Among them is Ellis Hers, owner of Maxon's Drugs, a pharmacy that has served the Sherman Oaks community for over 50 years.
Yeah, that's definitely doesn't make any sense. I mean, from here to that area is probably, 15 miles approximately, and to be represented, a representative to represent our district here and a district that's 15 miles away, you got a definitely different group of people, and it just makes absolutely no sense.
But the district layout wasn't always this convoluted. In fact, Sherman Oaks wasn't even in District 4 until the city underwent its controversial redistricting process in 2012. Every 10 years, the city proposes a new district layout based on the latest census information. But some critics allege that the process itself is also used as a platform for council members to gain more affluent neighborhoods in return for more political power. Nonetheless, layout is far from the only issue plaguing the district. Broken streets and sidewalks are major areas of concern, and of course, traffic.
Well, the traffic is heavier, more people, the traffic's heavier.
One person who knows these issues firsthand is candidate and Sherman Oaks resident of over 20 years, Joan Pellico.
It's a huge district, and there's 250,000 constituents. So what you have are flatlands, and then you have hills. And we used to represent part of what's now Council District 4. We used to represent Sherman Oaks, which is south of the boulevard, and the northern section where the businesses are. So I'm very familiar with the issues. Plus, I'm a Sherman Oaks resident of 28 years. And then being district director and chief of staff for Council District 5, I was able to work on the other side, and that's part of the Miracle Mile and the Mid-City West area, which has major development going on right now. So I would say with all parts of the district, there are some things that are similar. We all have in common traffic. And that's the big issue for people, is traffic and how to mitigate it.
Pellico also has specific plans to reduce traffic.
I'm a big fan of left turn lanes and left turn arrows. The arrow at Woodman and Ventura Boulevard, and also the one at Hazeltine, I was instrumental with the Department of Transportation in finding funding for it and getting it installed. Because once you take the turn off the road and your cars get to flow on the driving lane, you don't have the backup. And we have found out that just in San Fernando Valley alone, 15,000 accidents are related to left turns and speeding. So one of the things I want to do is take a look at all the intersections that we have in Council District 4 to see where we need to possibly put a left turn lane, left turn arrow, so we can keep the flow of traffic going.
But Pellico isn't the only candidate who knows the importance of Sherman Oaks. With a population of roughly 62,000, Sherman Oaks makes up a quarter of District 4. So in a tight race, Sherman Oaks is a key battleground. Yet no candidate knows Sherman Oaks quite like Buckley alumnus Teddy Davis.
You know, it's a sprawling district. There's an enormous commonality in the issues. So when I go out, I've gone door to door all over the district, and people talk to me about the same things everywhere I go. Broken streets and sidewalks, dangerously untrimmed trees, McMansions that overrun neighborhoods, and a Department of Water and Power that answers to no one. I don't care what part of the district you're in, those issues come up. So I do feel like there's a common agenda and a common set of issues that need to be addressed by the next council member, no matter which part of the district. On top of it, I would say this. I do think one of the reasons why the campaign's been going so well is that I do have ties to different parts of the district. Like you said, growing up in Los Feliz, to going to school out in Sherman Oaks, used to ride a little school bus through the Hollywood Hills, got my braces put on down in Larchmont, you know, I shop at the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake, and like to go around the reservoir whenever I get a chance. So to have ties to different parts of it really matter. I mean, we also stretch out to Beverly Crest. I mean, that's where I used to trick-or-treat on Halloween. And so I don't pretend to know all of LA, but I do feel like I know this part of Los Angeles. And I think that's why it's going so well.
One part you just mentioned was the streets. Obviously, it's a common issue. And one thing you suggested is collecting the $190 million owed to the city by utilities for cutting up our streets. That seems like a tall order.
It is a tall order. You know, LA has a history of having pretty savvy controllers, or the elected city auditors, who then put out these very good audits that then quickly collect dust on the shelf. Because if you don't have a council that will actually implement the findings of it, it won't go anywhere. And that's what I want to do, is to actually implement these findings. Ron Galper, the controller, found out this $190 million that's out there that's owed to the city. I want to bring it back to the neighborhoods. Put these companies in a collection the way they do to individuals, you know, and let's bring that money back, because we need it to fix our streets.
Davis also had some words to say about his time at Buckley.
I think Buckley fostered my love of learning. I went here from nursery through 12th grade, loved the school very much. My sister and brother also attended Buckley. And I think that what was really great was having the chance to work in journalism and in student government here. I did both during my time in high school, and really being able to take leadership roles in both, and to be able to explore that interest that I really kept my whole life, and I carried it on in college and after college, and I think it laid the foundation for my life's later interests.
On the other side of the district, candidate and Hancock Park resident Carolyn Ramsey is rallying support. Among her supporters is Melrose Larry Green.
I ran for mayor of this city twice. I ran for this seat twice. I majored in politics at Brandeis University and graduated over 40 years ago. Of all the campaigns I've ever worked on, and I've worked for a lot of good ones, Villaraigosa, O'Farrell, Garcetti, Lavant, this is the best candidate I've ever seen. This is a person for everybody.
Ramsey sees crumbling infrastructure and protecting our neighborhoods as top priorities for District 4.
Right now, it's about protecting neighborhoods and fixing infrastructure, and they're intertwined, because we have to fix our streets and sidewalks in our neighborhoods.
But in a race with little to no publicity, it just might come down to whether or not the voter has heard the name or not. Well, that wraps up our show. I'm Jackson Lewis, reporting for the Student Voice. Have a good one.